Thanks very much. Well, I'm going to speak more specifically about chronic fatigue because, as Mark said, it's a syndrome, and that's the kind of name that medical people give for something that's unexplained. They don't know how to deal with, really. As Mark said, it goes from the GP to the specialist, from the specialist back to the GP, and it's a horrible thing for people with chronic fatigue. When you've got a problem that the medical people don't know how to deal with. I mean, it's one of the things that's most important with any kind of healing is the hope of a recovery. And when you're being told that the only thing they can do is, they say saying it's all in your head. Let's be honest, everything's in our head. Everything's perception. But past that point, so my understanding, and I'm not a medical person, let's get that out of the way first. So if I say something that sounds slightly medical and it's way off, that's because I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to medical stuff. So the thing is, this is how it looks for me. As a hypnotherapist, my thinking on this is very simple. Your whole being is, and this is it's a Freddy theory, as I say, it's not written in stone. This is my Freddy theory. I believe that our brain is only ever trying to do one of two things for us. It's trying to protect you, or it's trying to give you pleasure. So it's there, if you like, if you go back to how we were 2 million years ago, it's there for procreation and survival. Let's get back to the very basic bones of it. But basically our mind and brain is pretty much the same as it's always been. So when a client comes into me, the question I just ask myself is this problem about pleasure? Because if it's not about pleasure, it has to be about protection. So the thing about chronic fatigue is this, as I was saying, medical people really don't have an answer to it. And they might give you depression pills, I don't know, because I'm not a doctor, but they'll give you something, but it never touches the problem. Now, this is a theory that's been around for a while, but not many people know it. Let me first explain how a phobia begins, because we're going to get into, and if someone wants to do this in a while, I'm going to pull someone out who's got chronic fatigue. I'm going to run this technique with them. It'll take 10 minutes if someone wants to be a demo subject. Let me first explain my simple layman's term of how a phobia begins. There's a part of our brain, it's called the amygdala. In a human, it's about as big as an almond. But it's probably the most primitive part of a human being. Every creature with a vertebrae has an amygdala. And what it does, among other things, it runs our fight and flight response. I've got Mark on my screen here, so I'm just going to pin myself to the screen if that's okay. Just so I'm looking at Mark at the moment. Right, okay. So it runs our fight and flight response. And as I said, in very simple terms, this is what happens. Imagine a dog jumps up and bites you. You feel the pain, the amygdala fires off, and it takes a snapshot of the dog. And everything about that dog, the way it smells, the way it looks, the way it sounds. In an instant, in a millisecond, everything about that dog is laid down as a template to be avoided in the future. So it's like a one-stop learning. A dog bites you, and it happens with physical and emotional pain. So if you're at school and you're continually bullied by a teacher or by another pupil, throughout your life, anyone that sounds like that, smells like that, looks like that, you're going to feel this anxiety rise. Once the dog's bitten you, the amygdala fires off, it's laid down a pattern. This is to be avoided. And anything that looks like that, your body, you don't have to think about it, your brain will flood your body with adrenaline so you can run or you can fight. And it happens in an instant. You don't have conscious control over this. This is an automatic function, if you like. Now, it works with physical pain, as I said, it works with emotional pain. The reason I'm explaining how this is a brief, potted version of how phobia is developed. The reason I'm saying this is because every client I've seen with chronic fatigue, they have the same experience. They are going through a viral illness, and for a lot of people, it's teenagers. They're going through glandular fever at the same time as going through their exams. So let's put this in context. You've got a physical illness, You've got a physical problem at the same time as going through an extreme trauma. In the same way as when a dog bites you, the amygdala fires off, takes a snapshot of the dog, everything connected to that dog is laid down as a pattern to be avoided in the future. If you've got, and you can check this with all of your own patients, ask them the question, have they had a viral illness at the same time as going through a trauma? It can be going through a divorce. It can be going through losing someone that's died at the same time as you're feeling ill. Now, what happens is this. Those two things get connected in your mind in the same way as the dog and the fear. So what happens is this. If I get ill, if I get a cold, I get flu, I think, you know, I feel really rough. I'm going to be okay in 5 or 6 days. And generally that's what happens. But if you've had a viral illness at the same time as having a trauma, those two things are connected. So what happens in the future, because you're suffering from this trauma, your body is continually being flooded with adrenaline because you're going through your exams, or you're going through a divorce, or you're going through some other trauma. Your body is flooded with adrenaline at the same time as having this viral illness. So those two things then get connected in your brain. So what happens after that is this. You get over the viral illness, you forget about the trauma, but the next time you get ill, the amygdala fires off. And it floods your body with adrenaline because those two things are connected. So if you've ever done any presenting, or if you've done anything where you've been under stress and you're running on adrenaline, what happens is once you've done that presentation, or once the stress situation's out of the way, you have a dump of adrenaline and you feel knackered. If you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. I can present for 2 hours. And I can keep going for 2 hours, not a problem. The moment everyone's gone, I am just sitting in a chair. I'm like, all that adrenaline's gone and I am tired. So this is what's going on in people with chronic fatigue. They feel ill, up comes the adrenaline, body's flow of adrenaline, there's nothing to run from, nothing to fight for. The adrenaline, that can't last in your body for very long. The adrenaline drops and they feel tired and they go, I'm feeling really tired, I'm going to be ill. Up comes the adrenaline. It's this vicious circle of feeling ill, feeling tired. But most medical people have no understanding of this at this point. This little conversation here is going to make you more aware of it. And you can deal with it with medication, but it's not dealing because they don't see it as a psychological problem. But it's exactly the same as a phobia. And as hypnotherapists, we can deal with phobias. It's one of the most effective things that we can do as hypnotherapists. I fully expect if someone sees me with a phobia, I can eliminate that phobia in 10 minutes. That sounds like a big statement, but I absolutely know I can do it. So it's the same with chronic fatigue. It seems like a massive problem, and it is a massive problem. You know, I've seen people with chronic fatigue for 30 years. They haven't been getting on with their life because this continuous feeling of tiredness. And there's a reason for it. And once we understand that, it's just this link between feeling ill and this adrenaline flood. I start to feel ill. I start to feel anxious. My body is now flooded with adrenaline. There's nothing to run for, nothing to fight for. I'm just feeling this anxiety and this stress. The adrenaline drops because it can't stay in your body forever. The moment it drops, you feel completely tired. I'm feeling tired, I'm going to be ill. Up comes the anxiety. Your body's flooded with adrenaline. It dissipates. I feel tired, I'm going to be ill. And you're on this vicious cycle of feeling ill and feeling tired. It goes on for years because we're not dealing with it as a psychological problem. So I'm going to demonstrate this to anyone that's got chronic fatigue. If anyone wants to do this and just have the experience, I'm not going to promise you anything, but we might as well run this as I would do with a client in my office. Is anyone up for it? Just put your hand up or switch your microphone on because I can't see everybody at the moment.
I'm up for it, Freddy.
Who am I speaking to?
Linda Johnson.
Okay, Linda, can you, I'm just going to I'm just going to find you. What the best thing to do here is everyone else switch their camera off, then it will just be me and Linda on the screen. Can you all do that for me right now? Everyone other than Linda, switch your camera off. I can see you there, Linda, but I can also see a few other people. We're getting there. I mean, anyone else that wants to join this, you're welcome to leave your camera on. We can do it as a group. It's not a problem. Anyone else that wants to be in this, and I'm not promising anything. Okay, well done, Diana. Are you on for this, Sonia? Do you want to be part of this demo? You do. And do you want to be part of it, Jeanette? Yeah? Okay. Right. So we should have like, I don't know, half a dozen people and myself on the screen. So let's assume, because we've got plenty of time here, all right, we've got another 5 minutes. So, and we're going to sort your chronic fatigue out for you in the next 5 or 10 minutes, okay? And I know that's a massive statement because for you, it is everything. I understand that. And it's probably been like that for years. But my goal here is after this, and we'll know because the next time we meet up, you can tell us, okay? And I don't want you won't hurt my feelings by saying, you know, whatever you want to say. But this is what's going to happen in the next few minutes. I'm going to hypnotize you. Have you all got the understanding of what, does that make sense to you? Who here has had a viral illness at the same time having trauma? Put your hand up if that's been the case for you. Okay, excellent. So it kind of proves my point here. So can you understand how this is linked to that adrenaline flood? Yeah. Now, when we create any sort of behavior or any kind of learning, and phobias are like a one-stop learning. We can learn phobias in different ways. We can learn it through having a parent that's frightened and flapping around, and we see them and we think that's got to be scary, so we learn it from that. Or there's the other way, the one-stop learning. A bee stings you, a dog bites you, someone hurts you, and in that instant, your brain goes, right, from now on, be aware. Anything that looks like that, be aware. And anything that happens in that situation, your body floods with adrenaline so you can run or fight. That's the way it works. In simple layman's terms, that's how we develop a phobia. But it's also the way that we develop chronic fatigue. All of you put your hand up when I said to you, did you have a viral illness at the same time as having a trauma? And you all said yes. So it kind of proves my point here. Now, when we create any kind of behavior, any kind of learned behavior, the moment it becomes an automatic function, something we do without thinking. It's like walking, talking, reading, writing. To try and overcome this consciously would be like me saying, I want you to forget how to speak or to listen to me and not understand me. You say, well, that's ridiculous. It's no longer something I think about, it's something I just do. And it's the same at chronic fatigue. You're not doing this. This is something that's happening automatically. And when we learn something like that to the point it becomes unconscious, it's almost as if we create a part of us that's then doing that job for us. I mean, you wouldn't have said it when it happened to you, but some part of your brain would go on, remind me, I never want to feel like this again. Anything that looks like this, feels like that, make me aware. And that's what's happening for you, okay? Because you start to feel ill, and then you start to feel anxious, and then you feel tired, and then it goes on. So in a moment, as strange as this may seem, I am going to speak directly to the part of you that is running that protective mechanism that's been making you aware of everything that could possibly go wrong when you feel unwell. Even if it's a cold or a flu, it's that part that's been running that protective mechanism, and it will communicate. I don't know how, you don't know how, because it's an unconscious part of your being, but it will communicate. And the first thing I'm going to do is ask it to explain what it's doing for you. And it is obvious. It's trying to keep you safe and well. That's its job. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. And then I'm going to ask it to go to your creative mind, the part of you that dreams and has ideas and makes plans, and allow your creative mind to run and flow and work and come up with lots of new choices, lots of new ways of keeping you safe and protected, because it is not going to give up that job. Keep you safe and protected, but at the same time allowing you the irrational, that freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety you've had about being ill. Allow you the natural concerns that everyone should have so you can be safe, but allow you the freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety. Now, providing your creative mind comes up with new choices, I've never known anyone who can't do this. I'm going to ask it to take that new choice and get it into your system. So from today, you will never experience that chronic fatigue again. That is my goal. And it's a big statement, but I am not going to promise you anything. But on the other hand, I'm not either going to give you pills or potions. The worst thing that can happen here is nothing. Okay. But what if? Just imagine what's going to happen when you free that chronic fatigue forever. And that's my goal. Okay. So all you have to do over the next 5 minutes is absolutely nothing. Look on this as time out for you. Listen to me if you want, but I don't mean this rudely. I am not interested in your conscious mind. You have tried to overcome this consciously. It has not worked. This is an unconscious process that's running. Your unconscious mind will hear everything I've got to say. It will take from it what is needed for you to free yourself from this chronic fatigue. So what I'd like you to do is this. If you're ready to do this, if you're ready to be hypnotized, just nod your head or say, I'm ready, Freddy. I don't mind. Either of those things will do. All right, great. I want you to just get comfortable, place your hands separately, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. You've got arms on your chair there, Sonia. So you're comfortable. You can rest your elbows on the chair, can you? Okay, I want you to do this for me. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. In a moment, I'm going to ask you just to lift your hand up slowly, your right hand up slowly. But as you do that, I want you to take a deep breath in and close your eyes. I will then ask you to push your hand down. Your eyes will open, you'll relax even more. I'll ask you to lift your hand up. As you lift your hand up, your eyes will close. As you push your hand down, your eyes will open and relax even more. Okay? You don't have to have arms on your chair, Natalie. You look fairly strong to me. All right? So it's just that I don't want, you know, if you're a bit like me, you've got a frozen shoulder or something, you'll be comfortable. So are you ready to do this? Just allow your hand to lift up slowly and allow your eyes to close. Take that deep breath in. As that hand gets to the top, keep that breath for a second. Now breathe out and then allow your arm to drift down. And as your arm drifts down, allow your eyes to open and relax even more. Great. As that hand begins to lift once again and your eyes close, take that wonderful deep belly breath in. And as you breathe out, just allow your eyes to open and relax even more. That's great. You're doing brilliantly. Now, as that hand lifts and your eyes close, and you take that wonderful breath in, and as that hand reaches the top, just close your eyes, take that breath. And feel that wrist stiffening now. That's right. Feel that wrist stiffening. Feel the elbow locking. Feel the forearm muscle tightening. Feel that bicep tightening into your shoulder. Feel that arm going completely rigid as it hangs there. And as that hand hangs there all by itself, just imagine you're drifting into the most incredible space of bliss. Imagine it's happening automatically. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. Imagine you're just dropping down through space and time toward a place of total bliss. Do it now. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. And as you drift into that space, my voice is going to drift with you. And everything I say now becomes your reality. Every suggestion I give you, your mind and body will act upon at a molecular, cellular, and neurological level is now your reality. Now, as you drift even deeper, you can use your unconscious mind as a resource you can learn from. Really have an experience, one that's satisfactory to you. All that's needed to build a good rapport with your unconscious is to have a line of communication. It may be that the eye reflex changes and the eyes flicker. That's right. That's right. Or the head moves slightly to indicate yes. You can try and keep those eyes still for they flicker even more. It may be that the left hand starts to feel lighter and lighter, starts to drift up as the eyes flicker, or the right arm goes even higher. Only your unconscious mind knows which it will use. So as you drift deeply into hypnosis now, even deeper than before, I'd like your unconscious mind to search through all the things in your life and pick one thing that is of vital and utmost importance to your life, your energy, your freedom, your well-being, something you love to be free of, something that no longer suits you. And when the unconscious mind's made that choice, I want it to increase those signals. I don't know if it's a left hand, right hand, both hands that start to lift up first. But you'll know, that's right. Feel that force around those wrists, fingers lifting, hands lifting higher and higher. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that now as those arms are pulled toward the ceiling. And now I'd like your unconscious mind, as those hands are pulled toward the ceiling, that's right, to hand over those signals to the part of you that is responsible for that protective mechanism that's been making you aware of everything that could possibly go wrong when you feel unwell. It's right, body moving, hands lifting. And when that part's taken full control of those signals, I want to pull those hands even higher, so, with honest unconscious movement, so that you and I understand it's taken control. Feel that force around those wrists like an invisible wire now. Head moving, hands moving higher and higher. Now I'd like to ask that part to go to your creative mind. Find lots of new choices, lots of new ways of keeping you safe, well and protected, but at the same time allowing you the freedom from the irrational fear and anxiety you've been feeling about being unwell. Allow you the natural concerns that everyone should have about their health, but allow you the freedom from that irrational fear. Each time it identifies a new choice, I want to increase those signals. That's right, you can try and hold those arms still if I want to go even higher now. 10, 20, 100 new choices. That's right, deeper, deeper down into that hypnosis now. That's right, and as that part searches, see yourself out there living your life with a new energy, free of the chronic fatigue, free to be. See it clearly in your mind. Go and step into that body and feel what it feels like. That freedom. Remember those times in your life when you had that energy and that life, and feel that force around those wrists. 10, 20, 100 new choices now. You know you have a super powerful unconscious mind and it's working for you. That's right, Sonia. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to be well. It's a superpower. And to prove how powerful it is, I want you to try and hold those hands still. Finally go even higher now. Feel that force, winching them up toward the ceiling. Try and hold them still, finally go even higher. Try and get them down and finally go even higher. Do not want you to pretend. Push even harder, finally go even higher now. That's right, stay in that deep trance, go 1,000 times deeper. And as those hands are pulled toward the ceiling, open your eyes, watch those hands going up. That's right, try and get them down, finally go even higher. Understand you have tapped into a superpower here today. And you have that power within you. From today, whenever you want to use that power, close your eyes, go even deeper. Whenever you want to use that power, you repeat the word relax 4 times in your mind. You're going to go back into this state. Now I'd like to ask that part that runs that protective mechanism that's been making you aware every time you've been ill, to pick as many new choices. Pick one of those choices that will keep you safe, well and protected, but allow you total freedom from the chronic fatigue. And when it's done that, I want you to pull those hands together, clasp them together so that you and I understand. Get ready, because when those hands touch, feel it now. That's right, Jude. When those hands touch, when those hands clasp together, you're going to have a moment of enlightenment, a moment of freedom you may have never experienced before. And feel that feeling now going through your body. That's right, Jeanette. Feel those changes taking place in your body. That's right, Diana. Feel it now. And I want you just for a moment to think about the people you love, people that love you, the people you've helped, the people that you've loved. And feel that love right now like a burning hot sun in a summer sky. Shrink it down to a white hot nuclear powered ball of light as big as a golf ball. Pull that into the very core of your being. Feel it flooding your body and your mind, going into every cell, every fiber. It's every ounce of fatigue disappears from your body. Every ounce of anxiety disappears from your mind. Feel it now. Put it into your very heart center. That's right, Sonia. And feel that love and that light now. Let that lift you up. And from today, no matter how hard you try, you will never experience that fatigue again. The harder you try to remember what it felt like, the more energized, the more free you become. Feel it now. Go over with your unconscious often as you need to know that you're free. Only when the unconscious mind knows and has made those changes at a molecular, cellular, neurological level that will allow you that freedom forever. Only then, and the unconscious mind accepts the changes made. Because in a moment, I'm going to count to 10. And every suggestion I've given you, every suggestion you've given yourself for well-being is now your reality. On 8, your eyes will open. You are going to feel incredible, like you've had the ton weight lifted, like you've had the blinkers removed. You're going to feel incredible, a new energy, a new life. And on 10, that feeling of empowerment, that feeling of freedom and well-being is going to grow stronger day by day. Get ready. 1, feeling absolutely wonderful. 2, to achieve that feeling of freedom and energy. 3, a feeling of freedom from every irrational fear and anxiety you've had about being ill. 4, feel a force of that healing energy flooding your body and your mind now. Feel it, lifting you up, lighting you up. 5, incredibly alive now. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening, feeling absolutely incredible. 9, 10. Okay, excellent. How are you feeling, Sonia? Switch your mic on. Let me know how you're feeling. All of you can switch your mic on. Just let me know how you feel.
Felt as if my arms were unlocking and a lot lighter.
Okay, good. Well, look, as I said, I'm not promising you anything, but what if? What I fully expect is that you'll forget. And I don't know whether it will be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour from now, 20 years from now, when you suddenly realize you've been thinking about something else entirely. Every ounce of that fatigue disappeared right here, right now. And be aware that those changes have taken place, because you've lived your life for a long time with that fatigue and with that anxiety. Recognize that those two things aren't connected, and you can. And there are times you're going to get tired. You will be tired, but understand that's because you're working or you're doing something different, okay? And just do yourself that kindness. Well, I hope you enjoyed it.